Next on Webster News tonight, a Webster police officer is seriously injured following a car accident. What the department is saying about his condition. Plus, the trial of a Blackstone mother charged with killing her babies begins. A neighbor recounts the chilling scenes she found. We begin tonight with breaking news. A teenage boy has died after being pulled from South Meadow Pond in Clinton. Good evening, I'm Brittany Schaefer. Clinton police received calls just before 5 p.m. for an unresponsive drowning victim. The boy was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Clinton superintendent of schools is identifying the boy as a high school freshman, Rafael Perez. He says, quote, "We are deeply saddened. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family during this difficult time." The high school was open this evening for any students or staff who needed to talk. New details tonight on the Webster police officer who suffered serious injuries following a 3-car accident this afternoon. The 20-plus-year veteran detective was in an unmarked cruiser at the intersection of Grove and Chester Streets. Police say this happened around 1 o'clock on Grove Street, where a car hit the cruiser after failing to stop at a stop sign, causing the officer to swerve and get hit by another car head-on. Multiple people were taken to the hospital, including the detective.
The car was pretty badly mangled. The officer was badly injured, was brought to the hospital, had to be pried out with the jaws of life because the vehicle was totaled. Thankfully, the other 2 people involved in the accident suffered only minor injuries, were transported to the hospital as a precaution. They said it was a fairly serious eye injury. It's what we believe now. We'll have updates later on. Obviously, we're hoping for the best.
The extent of the officer's injuries are not known at this time. The crash is under investigation. Shocking new details tonight as the trial of a Blackstone mother charged with killing her babies begins. Skeletal remains of 3 infant babies were found inside Erika Murray's home. Today, the neighbor who discovered what now has become known as the House of Horrors testified in the case. Our Rosalind Flaherty was in court today. She has the details.
On the walls, there were like little baby handprints and feces.
Disturbing details and images on the first day of the trial for Erika Murray. The 35-year-old is charged with killing 2 of her 7 children found inside her home in Blackstone.
Erika Murray created 2 different worlds for her children. A world for the wanted and a world for the unwanted.
Murray was arrested in 2014 after neighbor Betsy Brown found the horrible conditions inside the home. She was a witness Tuesday and describes finding 2 of the children covered in feces, alone in the dark, crying.
There was just a large amount of things, dirty diapers and bottles with maggots and things like that.
Her 911 call played in court. Murray remained emotionless the entire time. Prosecutors say when investigators went through the home, they found 3 dead infants. 2 were dressed, the 3rd was not.
He is unclothed and still has the umbilical cord attached to the placenta.
Murray's defense attorney says investigators ignored the facts because of the shocking details. He says while his client suffers from a mental illness, she did not kill her children, saying 1 died at birth and the others were stillborn.
There is no evidence that Miss Murray did anything wrong or criminal that caused the death of any child.
Murray waived her right to a jury trial, so the judge will determine the verdict. The trial is expected to continue over the next few weeks. Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
The Whitensville man convicted of burying a dog alive last fall is sentenced to prison. 25-year-old Richard Picard pleaded guilty to animal cruelty charges. Prosecutors say a 17-year-old dog was found buried behind a house where Picard lived. They say he buried the dog because his former girlfriend wouldn't find it a new home. Picard will serve 90 days in jail. He will be supervised probation for the remainder of his 2.5-year sentence. Webster police are asking for the public's help identifying a man who allegedly kidnapped a young girl last week. The girl told police she was meeting a friend at the park when the man told her he, quote, needed her help. They say any surveillance video in the case could help. Our Chandler Walsh reports.
No one's probably going to sleep great at night until we get this person in custody, which I'm confident that we will do.
Webster police are asking for the public's help in an alleged kidnapping and assault of a 12-year-old girl. They're looking for surveillance video and photos of the area around May Street Park where she told officers she was taken. Chief Michael Shaw says the incident appears to be random.
Having children myself, I can only imagine what they're feeling. you know, they're horrified that it happened, but at the same time, I think that, you know, they also feel very lucky that it didn't end up worse.
Police say they have evidence the incident happened and are actively investigating. They're also in the middle of processing DNA evidence. Meanwhile, parents are taking extra precautions.
My kids are 8 and 11, and I usually let them go to that park by themselves because it's right across the street from my house, and I can see them from the window. And now, until this is over, I probably won't.
Andrea Kapoka has talked to her kids about strangers and can't believe something like this could happen at a busy park.
I'm very shocked because there's always so many people there, and a lot of the kids that play there live on that street, and all the parents are always watching over there.
Police say the girl was at the park Friday afternoon when a man convinced her to get into his car, saying his friend needed help. They say he drove her to Connecticut and sexually assaulted her. Chief Shaw is reminding parents to talk to their kids and know where they are at all times.
I think it's important for parents to have that dialogue with their children about when they go to places when they're not with an adult, how to act, what to do if they're approached by a stranger.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
After releasing a report recommending making WRTA bus service free for riders, the Worcester Regional Research Bureau discusses the idea with the City Council Tuesday. The Research Bureau's report showed most of the WRTA's budget comes from federal and state aid, and only 14% comes from fares. The Research Bureau says other cities' data shows fare-free service boosts ridership on buses. City Manager Ed Augustus says it's something worth looking into and could fix recent issues with regional transit authorities.
This era of Uber and Lyft and on-demand kind of ride sharing, we need to be thinking outside the box. We need to be thinking more creatively about how to provide public transportation options that work for people. So I think it's a good place to kind of start that conversation and see if this is something that makes some sense.
Augustus says a next step could be having the City Council's Public Transportation Subcommittee take another look at free ridership. A Worcester Little Leaguer is being recognized for his perfect game last week. Brady Fenner threw 6 flawless innings and made it an incredibly easy day for his teammates in the field. Wednesday, he took to the mound for the first time since his historic outing. Our Cam Jandro joins us live now with more. Cam?
Brittany, whether it's Little League, college, or even Major League Baseball, throwing a perfect game is one of the most difficult things to do in all of sports. Well, 12-year-old Brady Fenner did it in the most dominant fashion possible, striking out every person that walked up to home plate.
The last time Brady Fenner pitched for his team, not a single batter put the baseball in play.
I threw a perfect game.
What else?
And got 18 strikeouts.
Brady pitches for Worcester's Tris Speaker Little League. In his last start, it was 18 up, 18 down. The soft-spoken right-hander says his key to success is the fastball.
I throw pretty fast.
The Little Leaguer has been playing baseball since he was 5, but never thought he'd ever throw a perfect game.
No, I didn't think that was going to be possible. I was happy that I just pitched a perfect game.
The accomplishment was just as much of a surprise for his father, Scott.
And we got through the 5th inning, and we said, all right, he has a chance here. You know, I just told him, get ahead in the count, just throw strikes, and we'll see what happens, and sure enough, he did it.
Brady has yet to lose a start this season. He's also had a 15 strikeout performance earlier in the year. His father says he wanted to jump up and down after the perfect game's last out, but couldn't.
But the kids just kind of, came off the field and lined up and shook hands, and that was it. And meanwhile, I'm like ready to high five somebody, but it's pretty cool that way too, to see him react like that.
The Little League season is approaching its end, but Brady says there is only one thing he'll remember from his historic outing.
Pitching 18 strikeouts.
Now, Brady's dad says so far this season, striking out at least 10 players has really become the norm for Brady. He pitched 2 innings tonight, and he struck out everyone except for one kid. Brittany.
What an incredible game. Thank you, Cam. A Grafton Street sign is up for discussion at tonight's City Council meeting after a resident finds it distasteful. The sign shows a man looking at a bottle of Hennessy liquor with the words, "Never stop, never settle." The half-sized billboard outside of Bienvenido's package store upset resident Idella Hazard. She says it's representing a black man in a negative way, but the store owner says it's not their call.
What's so distasteful about it is that it's a picture of a man of color. And in my neighborhood, there are so many people of color, and it's enticing to the children in my neighborhood that people of color drink hard liquor. And I spoke to the owner of the store, and he said, no, it's not going to come down. So that's why I'm here at the city council meeting tonight.
It's really not our decision on what they put on for an advertisement. We're just advertising the product that we sell, and we apologize if it offends. We don't try to offend anybody with with our ads.
Hazard's hope is the city council will want the sign to come down, or a subcommittee could look further into the issue. A Clinton family is picking up the pieces after a fire hit their home Friday night. The fire started in Jen Zalent's parents' home, and although the fire was maintained to the back of the home, the damage is still costly. The fire department quoted the repairs at $30,000. Zalent says her parents have lived in the home for 25 years, and now she's hoping the community can come together to help in any way they can.
What I'm doing is just trying to alleviate any kind of stress from my parents, and I'm trying to look for all kinds of avenues to not only raise donations or gift cards or things like that, but even if we can have people help in the rebuilding of the house. Luckily it wasn't the whole house, but any kind of donation of labor, materials, anything that will help alleviate the cost.
Zalent has also set up a GoFundMe page. She says her parents are currently living at her house until their place is repaired. If you're feeling lucky tonight, it is the night to play the Mega Millions. Tuesday's jackpot is up to a huge $475 million, making it the 7th largest jackpot in the game's history. The cash option, if you are feeling like a lucky winner, is $307 million. The numbers are set to be announced tonight at 11 p.m.